Okay, welcome in everybody on this Thursday. It is Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. In partnership with our good friends at Yellowhammer News. We're going to tell you all about that throughout the program today, but it is a Thursday here. We got a lot going on, a lot of good guests, and we want you to be a part of it as always.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We are Longshore and McKnight, and we're going to talk a little round ball today, just like we did yesterday. Auburn, very impressive win last night. I got a phone call, a text yesterday upon hearing the news that Sonny Smith, my old broadcast partner on television, is retiring from the Auburn basketball broadcasts. And somebody texted me and said, ooh, man, the last couple of years have not been good to Longshore. First Stan White from the football broadcasts, and now Sonny from basketball. John's going to spend less time in his driveway now.
You get used to it. You feel like you formed a friendship, the bond. You know what you're going to get. First, it was Stan. I mean, I get it. Got to spend more time with the family and the kids. I certainly understand that. But Stan, man, you left me hanging. And now Sonny. I mean, who's going to call the refs out by their first name on the broadcast? I mean,
over and over and over again.
Only Sonny could get away with that.
It's like John never got a chance to say goodbye and thank you or anything like that. He needs some closure.
Can they bring Damian Fish back? He's good on the SEC network.
He's already gone beyond the Auburn Sports Network. But
what in the world? You know where I found that out? PM on his Wednesday musings. That's where I first found out about Sonny
Hey,
Smith.
listen. No kidding around now. Speaking about that, when Phillip retires, Phillip, Stan, Sonny,
don't even bring it up.
All gone. I'm telling you, people, he's going to be inconsolable.
I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I really don't. It's just, boy. But yeah, Sonny's 87. I get it. He's been around, been on the road a lot. And, hey, I tip my cap to Sonny Smith, no longer doing the color for the Auburn radio broadcast. Who will be filling those shoes? Those are big shoes to fill.
Yep. His name is Randall Dickey. He's a former coach, and he's done a couple of them. He's filled in for Sonny before when the road gets to be too much. Look, I traveled with Sonny for years. We did an SEC basketball package, a Sun Belt basketball package, and we drove all over the place, airports everywhere and all that. And he was not young back then. So, he's been at this for a while. He's been a broadcaster. He's been retired for 25 years, and he's been a broadcaster ever since. So it's about that time, 87 years old. Yeah. He's done enough. He's done a good job.
My cap to Sonny Smith, a great career. Going to miss you. I'm telling you. Sometimes I'd forget, Barry, and I'd get a text, ding, are you listening to Sonny? I'd run out to the car, turn it on, sit in the driveway.
Yep.
Big shoes to fill.
Yes, definitely so. And show how long it's been. Kirk Lehman, he chats in and says, Sonny Smith used to be a coach? Sonny. Kirk. Sonny, up until Cliff Ellis, Bruce Pearl, and all apologies to Joel Eves and those guys. But Sonny was the coach. Kirk. Yeah.
He certainly was, Barry. Auburn basketball before that, for those coaches, I mean, Auburn was nothing. And then Sonny took them to Sweet 16s, a Final 8, 4 or 5 NCAA tournaments in a row?
Charles Barkley, golly, so many great players. Not enough. But yeah, great broadcaster too. Always fun to listen to, always fun to work with. And he said he's going to stay in the stands and yell at the referees from up there. He's going to look at a pretty good basketball team. I'm telling you.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
They Vermont has been to the NCAA tournament 4 straight years. It's a quality program, used to winning. They came to UAB, took their guaranteed money, and beat them.
Ooh.
and Auburn wins that game by 51 points. 94-43. Some of the new guys, including Miles Kelly, really good. Really good. They are going to be a force. They play Houston coming up Saturday at the Battleground 2K. That's down at the Toyota Center in Houston. 8:30 Central Time start for that one. Troy plays Houston in a couple of weeks, so I'll get a chance to look at
what
them.
day is that game?
That's the 9th, which is Saturday. Saturday night late.
Ooh, I might have my attention focused somewhere else Saturday night around Auburn tip time. That should be about the start of the third quarter down in Baton Rouge, if my timing is accurate.
We'll maybe the game will be decided by then.
All right, okay,
one way or another.
One way or the other.
Yeah,
so, Barry, once again, and I don't think this is on the topic wheel today, a couple of things I wanted to get to. And the topic wheel, boy, we got some good ones today. But another example, and I don't want to say it's solely on my suggestions, but it looks like Auburn is at least considering making a quarterback change during the off week.
Yeah.
And this clears it up about as well as anybody can clear it up. See if you can guess who this is.
Oh, brother. Philip.
Are one of the other three quarterbacks ready to start and be successful? Maybe. Does Thorne give the team the best chance to win, not just against ULM, but against A&M and Alabama? Probably. But then there are those losses, and there is that 7-point output against Vanderbilt. It is a difficult call. Any ideas who wrote that?
If he's asking him his own self questions, it's Philip. Of course, he's the only Auburn writer that John ever quotes. Yeah, I think he's the only Auburn writer that John ever reads. And
no, I read them. I read Brian and Jason.
Yeah,
all the time.
But he's definitely the only one that he quotes, though.
Yeah, he's so quotable.
Freeze said the program is debating a quarterback change. Peyton Thorne has played okay, he said, but you've got to start thinking big picture. Which at 3-6, the big picture is to try to get bowl eligible and give these guys. I understand the youth movement and preparing for the future and all that. But what about the guys it's their last go round, Do you want to, sit them on the bench and go, 3-9, 4-8, 5-7?
I'm not so sure
say,
the record.
Heck with you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure the record is the big issue. Certainly, you'd like to get bowl eligible. Mathematically, I guess it could happen. Handicapping wise, I don't think so. But I do think so. I think Peyton Thorne is worn out his welcome. We've seen what he can and cannot do. I'm saying, give some of these other guys a shot. Probably going to look for a quarterback in the portal anyway. But why not give these guys a shot? Particularly against ULM. That to me, that's a great time to. And ULM's not chopped liver from what we understand.
Yep.
But I'd still get them in on a game like that, see what happens, and let them ride out the string.
Yeah.
There again, I just think we've seen enough of Peyton Thorne.
But what do you do?
And I'm sure the coaches have a feel. I wonder what the locker room feels. You kind of feel
that's the thing.
Yeah, I think this team's feeling like we need to make a move.
You ought to play the players that deserve to play. Bottom line. Period. End of story. The guys who are the better players, the guys who are working the hardest, the guys who are most productive, play those guys, especially in this day and age. Play those guys.
Sure.
Because of what John's talking about. Because of the locker room. If you're wanting full buy-in from those guys, trust us, we know what we're doing. We need you to work hard and all of that. But even if you're the best player and you're practicing the best, I'm going to start a senior because he's a senior. Players don't respect that.
No.
They're thinking, man, I want to win. I want to win this game.
Yep. That's what we're here for. So,
why are you playing that guy? So, Peyton Thorne, maybe he is playing the best. maybe he does give them the best chance to win. I think there's probably the truth. I think he probably does. But if you're going to play somebody else just to get ready for the future, you better make sure, because you're going to have some people in the locker room that are not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, or maybe you got some guys in the locker room that are just frustrated and fed up and done with Thorne and want to see a different face out there. Who knows? We'll see, but they got an off week to figure it out. Jason Caldwell, who will join us in about 19 minutes, I'm sure will tell us more about what's going on with the Auburn quarterback situation, along with everything else during this off week. Some basketball after that big win in opening night for the Tigers against Vermont. We'll certainly get to that. Daniel with a great question on the chat line today, and I heard this earlier in the week, Barry. Daniel asking about Walker White. Will he be able to keep his eligibility and still play this season?
Yep.
It's 4 games before you burn a shirt.
Yes, you can do that. He can do that, and they are at that point of the year. Could have done it last. Well, he's got 4 games left.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah.
That happens all over the country. You also have players who, on the other side of things, will hit the transfer portal before the first 4 games are over with, and saving it. That's what the UNLV quarterback did, for instance.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Bob from Pike Road weighs in, and he says, you're wasting reps on guys who, let's face it, suck out loud and won't be at Auburn next year. Give somebody else an opportunity to get experience. Otherwise, you're in the same boat next year. There is value in that. But
sure,
he better be the guy. He better be, he better deserve it. I mean, Peyton Thorne has had his chance. I respect that. I get that. But if you're getting somebody else in there who hasn't had any reps at all, first, second, or third, and talking about Walker White, this guy's been on the scout team all year. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to get him ready, give him all the first team reps, and send him out there next time out? And all the guys who have had the Hank Browns and the Holden Garriners, is he still on the team? And the Holden Garriners that have been getting the reps at second and third team, all of a sudden getting leapfrogged by Walker White? Why? Players are going to ask that. Why him?
Barry, I knew a guy that ran the scout team for quite some time as well, and he begged and pleaded to get his shot in the game. Never happened, but you never know how things might have turned out if he'd have gotten that shot in real game action instead of calling the scout team and running the scout team offense for the first team defense.
Yeah.
Never know how that could have turned out.
On the other side, Bill from Baltimore, Bill Miner at the bottom of the screen, says there's also a point to not playing guys if they're going to just get their brains beat in. If that's the case, let Peyton play it out. Yeah, let Peyton get his brains beat out,
That's one way to think of it, Bill.
Go on back out there. Sure, tape him up. Get him on.
Hey, Barry, at 7:06 this morning, John sent in a chat. I might have to explain it to you. I'm not sure you know exactly what John Den at 7:06 is talking about. It's basically something to maybe help our throats during this transitional time with weather. So some atmospheric conditions and stuff, and your voice gets kind of clogged. And this could be directed to me as well, John, but he directs it to Barry. 3 fingers of Goldschlager with a little honey and lemon. Skip the honey and lemon. That morning fog clears up another. 3 fingers following the first, and you don't care as much about your voice. Now, 3 fingers of Goldschlager, Barry, you got any idea what that might be? You put the 3 fingers up against a glass. So you want to pour
3 fingers
that
tall.
much. Yeah, at least that much. And the Goldschlager is a well, I wouldn't say it's actually a liqueur, but it's something that'll clear that throat up. I would probably put a little honey and lemon in there just to kind of give it a little extra flavoring. But John, we hear you, buddy. And I guess in this format, Barry, I guess we could drink on the air. Why not?
We can do anything we want to,
So I might go to the state. Well, next time I'm in Florida, I'm gonna pick up a bottle of Goldschlager.
I suspect we ought to do that with our viewers and listeners. Anytime Chris the Bammer says, "What's PM say?" Take a shot, Anytime Chris the Bammer says spin the wheel, anytime Danny says something over and over and over again about Hugh Freeze, take a shot. It's only a 2-hour show. Some of those guys wouldn't last.
I don't know if we'd last if we
I
had to
don't
take
know
a
how
shot
we'd
with
even
them. Gee whiz. So, yeah, will there be a new quarterback when Auburn gets on the field again? ULM is their next opponent. If we heard kickoff times for that week, or are we just focused on this week? Sometimes they give us a week ahead, but I know Alabama's early, and they're on like ESPN Plus or SEC Plus. They're playing that worthless, meaningless game against Mercer. Nothing against Mercer. But you won't see me there, not even close. And Auburn's got ULM that week. I know Bama's early. I've not seen a Auburn kick for next week. Maybe
let's see. Auburn and ULM, 11:45 in the morning on the SEC network.
Awesome.
11:45. Mercer and Alabama, that's at 1 o'clock, and that's one of those flex games. I don't know. It says SEC network, but that's not gonna work out. 1 o'clock. Mercer is 8-1. And they're still going to get their brains beat out.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yep.
Hey, so we got the Auburn quarterback situation. We want to talk more about that. A lot of good comments on the chat line. You can get on it as well. River Region Straw chat line. It's up and going throughout the program. Our email, longshore@gmail.com. Brought to you by Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox. Several guests today. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover in about 13 minutes. We got Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market around 8 o'clock. We got a lot of topics today, a lot to get to.
Well, let's throw this out there. Since John sent the thing about, what was it, Goldschlager?
Yes.
Terrence has a good question.
Okay.
And Plainsman Preston, you want to get banned? You're doing a good job. Let's see. Terrence says, question for the chat.
Yes.
What's your favorite at Dreamland Barbecue?
Wow.
He says, my favorite, this is Terrence who knows his stuff. My favorite is the ultimate combination platter, which is 3 meats.
Okay.
Ribs, leg quarter, dark chicken, and the pulled pork.
Sweet.
With fries and Brunswick stew.
Terrence, awesome. So, Barry, the ribs speak for themselves.
Sure.
The leg quarter, dark chicken's a little juicier. So I get Terrence where he's going there. It's not as dry. White can get a little dry. Pulled pork, you never can go wrong there.
Yeah.
Terrence, I kind of go, I'm all over the place. Love the barbecue, but I love the rib tip quesadilla. They put the rib tips in the quesadilla with the cheese. You dip it in the Dreamland sauce. So good. The wings are phenomenal. My wife loves the wings, and they got the coldest beer in town. Sit at the bar, enjoy that, watch the game. You can't go wrong. Dreamland. I go downtown, but a lot of our viewers and listeners check out the location on Vaughn and Taylor Road as well.
Yep. It brings us our Dreamland Pick 3. You can get that in again, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com.
The wheels coming. Just hold on.
Golly, people. Yep. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where price sells cars and trucks on Cobbsford Road in Prattville.
Hi, this is Benji with Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Guys, this is the time to shop. The holidays will be here before you know it. Our cases are slam full, so take advantage and lay away for Christmas now. We have a full repair shop and design shop. So if you dream it, we can make it for her. And if you need any repairs, we have an in-house master jeweler. At Marguerite's, we make it. We really make it. At Marguerite's, we are open 7 days a week. Come see us at the Preparatory Shopping Center, 8163 Vaughn Road, Montgomery, Alabama, right by Chappie's.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Okay, we're back at it here about 7:21 on a Thursday. I know people are chomping at the wheel. We're going to get to it. I want to bring this up, Barry. I don't know any other way to bring it up because I've been, criticized in some circles about it. I'm probably one of the few people that doesn't mind the kind of way college football's going. Kind of the NFL model with the expanded playoff, the 2-minute warning. I know it's called something else, but I'll always call it Matter of fact, I heard somebody else call it the 2-minute warning. They were complaining about Hugh Freeze taking a timeout with 2:01, and he goes, and the 2-minute warning's coming in a second. I went,
they get a memo. If it's a broadcast, it ain't a warning. I mean, it's the 2-minute timeout. I got that instruction from the SEC and Sunbelt director of officials. He says, that's the way we structure it. It's not a warning. The 2-minute warning is stupid. Not just the theory of it, but it's just calling it the warning. Hey guys, don't forget.
It's a 2-minute warning.
It's coming. I just want to warn you. You better be ready. It's just a time. Hey, timeout. Okay.
We got.
Whoa, you took a timeout? Oh my gosh. I had no idea. Run for your lives.
Why did Freeze take a timeout at 2:01? I thought that was kind of odd as well. Yeah. Last week against Vandy. Clock's running. He calls a timeout at 2:01. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Clock's about to stop in a second.
Run a play, come back.
Yeah.
Go to break.
Yeah, another break. So where I'm getting to with the expanded playoff, 2-minute timeout, whatever you're going to call it, headsets, quarterback and the linebacker get to communicate with the coaches. Next thing
the players, free agency,
Next thing you know, they'll be adapting the NFL kickoff model. Not so much into that. I hope they don't do that. But the other stuff I don't have a problem with. Here's another thing I don't have a problem with. The injury reports. Now, the SEC and other leagues give you an injury report on Wednesday, similar to what the NFL's been doing as long as I've been following the NFL as a little phantom back in the day. And I always wondered, who needs to know who's injured? Who cares? I tell you,
and how bad,
The gamblers are caring. That's exactly who needs to know. And the opposition doesn't need to know. The TV people don't need to know. The refs don't need to know. The fans, the gamblers need to know. So in looking at Alabama's injury report, and LSU's.
How do you get that? I never see one. I mean, it's supposed to be released to the public, right? Because I would imagine that if you didn't release one or you released one and you list a guy as probable when he's really a doubtful or he's really an out,
sure,
you're going to get in trouble for that. So, I mean, somebody gets him. I never
somebody go from questionable to doubtful between Wednesday and Saturday?
Yeah. Yep. I've had dates like that.
Hey, where's my bell?
Oh, come on.
All right, so that's a good one. I got to remember that.
Hey, Saturday, you want to go to the game with me? Yeah. Okay. Which means that between when I ask her on Wednesday, when she's probable, and Thursday, fielding other offers.
That's right.
Friday, sending up a little flare. Hey, and then Saturday, boom, she's going with the chapter president from the Pi Caps. And
I got a friend like that when it comes to golf. Hey, you want to play golf this weekend? Let me get back to you. Which means if I don't get a better offer, if somebody doesn't invite me to Shoal Creek or wherever, then I'll play with you. I know those kind of people. So I'm looking at, and to answer your question, when the SEC releases the injury reports, I'm sure obviously it goes to the 16 teams in the league. I do understand Phantom Enterprises is one of the first people to get the injury update as well, which is very appreciative. We really appreciate the SEC sending that to them. Looking at this week, Barry, LSU has Alabama has two players that are out. Keon Sabb and Cole Adams. They're the only two that are out.
And those guys are out for the year.
LSU has 12 in the out column.
Jordan Allen, appreciate you, LSU, Mark. Jordan Allen, Harold Perkins, John Emery. I think those guys are all out for the year.
Yeah.
Jake Ibieta's not playing.
Ooh.
But Kimo Makaneole, probable. Phantom will take that, and he'll say, I can expect Kimo Makaneole.
Man, that's a broadcaster's nightmare. Woo.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man, that's a tough one there. But I do like the injury updates. I got to tell you, some of these people I've never heard of before, but when I saw 12 are out, woo, man.
Makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder about that. So I do like the injury reports. It kind of just gives you a little bit more information. You're updated a little bit more.
I just wonder about the opportunity. Ever since I started working with John, which has been 27 years, I've started to question people's motives about a lot of things. Like I never used to say, okay, you say that's the case, that's the case. John will have something, somebody will tell him something, and he'll say, I don't know. And I'm thinking, well, why not? They said it. He said, So I'm starting to question this. What happens if, I know it's not going to happen, what happens if all of a sudden, first defensive set, Saturday night in Baton Rouge, here comes Keon Sabb?
Oh.
What are they going to do?
What are
Besides
they do?
Brian Kelly give you a dirty look, Is he barred from playing? No, you got to go out. You got to go out. Go out, go to the locker room. It's like you had it's like you had targeting or something like that. You're out for the game. Wait a minute. You were on this list. See, you were on this list. Yeah. I know that's the way John tells me they do it at Fraternity Rush. Yep. No, see, you don't get to come to this party. You're on this list.
Lonnie.
You ain't coming to this party. Who
were those guys? Jugdish, Abdul. They called him Lonnie. It was Larry, but they called him Lonnie.
Helping themselves to some punch and cookies.
Yeah.
Greg Marmalard.
What a great scene. That was awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so what happens there? I don't know that that's enforceable.
I think if you're out and you're on the field, that could be enforceable. And maybe there's an updated list like an hour before kickoff or something like that. Anybody that's questionable or probable, you might have to update that. Who knows?
That's a question above my pay grade there.
Yeah, we're going to
on the wheel coming up in just a little while. I know we'll have some football. We'll kind of go down what's going on there. Great game tonight in the NFL on Amazon Prime. Big one. So we'll tell you all about that a little bit later on.
Barry, did you see where John from Wetumpka was at the Auburn game last night? So it was a great crowd. A lot of good action. Yes. Yep. He says this team could be special.
And he's normally a guy like, he's normally a little bit cautious in his Auburn fandom. I think he's been hurt before.
I think he's been hurt in terms of the Atlanta Braves. I've heard him say this team could be special. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Braves.
I love it. This is what I respect about John, 716 this morning. John from Wetumpka. He says, good morning. On the Auburn game last night, lots of Auburn fans like me are focusing on the hardwood. This team could be special. Anytime you mention the word hardwood, John likes that. Hardwood, round ball, pigskin, gridiron. John's the only guy that's still producing creative content in our business who still talks as though it's like 1928.
Well, Barry, remember that phase when Auburn had it, Alabama had it? They had these floors that weren't hardwood.
Oh, I played on those before. Yeah.
Rubbery something.
It was that urethane kind of stuff.
Terrible.
And, the bounces were true. You used to have, arenas where it was a home court advantage where you knew where the soft spots were, right?
That's right.
And that was inconsistent. But they used to have that urethane coating on the floor, which was okay, I guess. Yep. But if you're diving for a loose basketball, you ain't skidding. You ain't sliding across the hardwood floor. You hit that rubberized surface, and Beard Eves had it back in the day. I mean, you are stopped right there, and you ain't moving, and it's taking a layer of skin from you. It was the worst.
It would. You talking about strawberries on your kneecap? It was
infected.
Painful, tell you
gross.
that.
Yep.
All right, Barry, when we get back, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, is going to join us. He is loaded up, ready to go.
Yep.
We are Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light, in our partnership with Yellow Hammer News. You can check us out there each and every day as well. Really appreciate that. Check it out. We'll be telling you more about that throughout the day as well. But when we come back, we're going to talk Auburn athletics.
Jason Caldwell on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast Thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us today. Barry, how about this out at Victoryland, talking about some free play? Man, it is going on, and you can take advantage of it. Actually, around 9 o'clock this morning, they're going to kick it back off with free play. So take advantage of that. That's for everybody at Victoryland, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
Big shout out, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here. I remember, Jason, a couple of weeks ago, we were asking you about Auburn basketball, and you said, let me tell you a couple of, Miles Kelly can shoot it. You were right.
Yeah. Yeah, he got on a roll last night, and that's a guy it's really been sick for, a lot of the last 3 weeks or so. So he early on, you could tell he was kind of trying to find the rhythm a little bit, and when he found it, It was unconscious. We talked to him after the game. He said he kind of blacked out a little bit, and it looked like it because it was just catch and shoot, but it was a lot of fun. That's not a bad basketball team that all played last night. I mean, if people that know college basketball, Vermont's a team that I don't think they've lost under 20 games. I mean, won fewer than 20 games under this coach, and this is his 14th year. So this is pretty consistent group. They go to the NCAA tournament. I just beat UAB the other night, and for Auburn to come out and just I thought play exceptional. First off, you could see that they took this team seriously, and that was the thing. I think it's a sign of veteran leadership. I think when you have guys that have played as much basketball as the guys on this team have, I think you understand you only get so many opportunities, and so I thought they took advantage of it and played really well. Hard to find really anything to go, oh, man, that was a concern. I don't know that there was anything I saw last night to give you that concern. That'll show up Saturday night when you play Houston. In Houston, you'll see some of those things then. But as for an opener, that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. What about depth? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people got to play last night. Guys coming off the bench, give us your thoughts about them and what impressed you.
Yeah, I'm not certain that how long Chaney Johnson can come off the bench, to be quite honest. He had 13 and 9 in 16 minutes last night. He's a guy that's doing a lot of really good things for them, at that power forward spot. You look at, Todd Pettiford and Ja'Kai Howard, two really athletic guys coming off the bench for this team. And, you start to see a rotation. You go, there are lots of people, whether it's, Denver Jones and Miles Kelly starting, or if it's JP Pegues and Denver Jones, one of those guys becomes a bench piece too. And so that's the thing about it is this team, once again, has 10 guys where you go, man, you feel like those guys can go out and help you.
Did you like the Twin Towers deal with Janai Broome and Dylan Caldwell starting? Is that going to last?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Chaney Johnson is so productive right now. It may depend, too, on who you're facing. Houston is not a really – I don't know that they're going to be a team that's going to have a bunch of 7-footers.
Right.
But you think about the athleticism required to guard them and how they're going to guard you, and maybe see a little bit more of Chaney this week. But if you start and continue to be a guy that in roughly 20 minutes almost has a double-double, then I think you have to start looking at seeing more ways to get that guy on the court. And so I think he's been maybe the most key guy for me too, in that I think if he is a guy that can give you, I've been saying 8 and 8, just 8 and 8 for this team, get you 8 rebounds a night. And because this team's going to have some offensive options. He doesn't have to be a guy that scores a ton, but if he can go get you rebounds, and if it's 8, 9, 10, then I think he becomes a really valuable piece of this team.
Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here this morning on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. You mentioned Houston, and we've heard it all off season. I mean, Bruce Pearl's not shy about non-conference competition, and I think Saturday night will be one of many really good contests to get some good teams before the conference schedule kicks off in January.
Yeah, no question about it. You start talking about taking on the number 1 team in the country, according to Ken Palm. This is a really athletic team. Obviously for them, they played Jackson State in the opener, and you go, probably wouldn't expect much of a contest from them. But you look at, this Houston team, and you start talking about depth, and I'm kind of looking at the box score from their win. It was 97-40, and you start looking at it and the numbers of guys. I think they had Joseph Tugler and Milos Uzan are guys that played 25 minutes each. But you look and the numbers of guys that played, and they're 12 of 20 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, rebounding, and they share the load. But LJ Cryer is a guy that obviously familiar with, Juwan Roberts, Emmanuel Sharp. I mean, this is Terrence Arsenault. This is a group that has played in a big basketball games, a lot of familiar names, and it's going to be an athletic team that Auburn has to take on Saturday night.
Jason, I got to choose my words carefully because I don't think Hugh Freeze was espousing during this off week that he is going to play a different quarterback. He's going to give somebody else a chance, but at least it seemed like he is open to the idea and considering it. Is that how you're taking it?
Yeah, I do. I think had, obviously the question was about quarterbacks. I think if you ask the question in general, I think he probably tells you there's probably other spots where you're looking at going, because I kind of resetting a little bit, right? And kind of 3 things on offense, 3 things on defense, 3 things on special teams this week. And you think about offense and you go, okay, can you start to see maybe a little bit more of Tyler Johnson, redshirt freshman offensive tackle? Do you see a little bit more of DeAndre Carter to start to see some of those guys, get them in the mix? Quarterback, obviously the one you point at, and Peyton Thorne has not played terrible. In his last 5 games, 6 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and it's like 65% completion percentage. And so you look, and I think somebody told me, I hadn't even looked, but said he was 5th in the league in pass efficiency this season. But you look at the difference for this team and just the plays now. You're not turning it over, but there's not many plays that are being made either. And you get to this point in the season going, okay, you have to eventually find out what you have a little bit. Okay, Hank Brown, whether it's Walker White, whoever it is, you got a bye week, opportunity to get those guys at least prepared to play. And for a guy like Walker White, do you shift gears and go, okay, let's see if we can get 10 things. 10 things we feel good about him doing in a game, and maybe get a couple of series where you can go, okay, just go get your feet wet. You still want to win. And
yeah,
that's the thing. And so you can't completely throw it away. I think as long as you feel like it's close enough that you go, hey, we can justify playing these guys in situations, then I think you're okay. What you can't do is go, man, the team knows these guys aren't ready, we're going to play them anyway. And then you start to kind of punt on the season. That's where you have to be a little bit careful. I don't think they'll do that, but I do think you start to look and going, okay, let's see if we can find some spark on offense again.
I probably jumped the gun by asking about next, the next game or two. Give us a wrapper on the Vanderbilt game. Give us a final thought. What happened?
It's just a continuation of the same thing for this team. You played pretty solid football. I thought field position was probably the biggest thing in that game Saturday. I went back and looked, and our buddy Stat Tiger does an incredible job of kind of digging through stats. And he's like, of the last 33 Auburn teams, this team is 31st out of the last 33 Auburn teams in average starting field position, meaning like they're having to drive the length of the field. Against Vandy Saturday, they had 12 possessions, and none of the 12 started outside your own 35-yard line.
None?
It means that you've had 12 times to get the football, but to score a touchdown, you had to drive a minimum of 65 yards every time. It's hard to do that. You need to create some field position, and some of that is, you have a penalty on a special teams. Some of it, the other punter punched you down twice at the 1-yard line, which killed a couple of drives. The other part of it too is this defense has played extremely well. It's been the best part of this team. They've only forced 8 turnovers. And so you start going, okay, can you get the ball back to your offense in short fields and maybe give them a chance to score a few times? That's what it takes to maybe get over the hump when you're not as good on the line of scrimmage. And I left Saturday saying that Vanderbilt was better on the line of scrimmage than Auburn was. Now, they weren't dominant, but you have an old offensive line. Now, they didn't do much on offense. Auburn really shut them down, but they didn't allow sacks. They didn't have turnovers. And then defensively, I thought they were really active. Keldrick Falk has been really good for this team and I think he's a future NFL first-round guy. Malik Blockton's been good. The older guys up front just haven't been difference makers. And the difference makers on defense are all the young guys. And they played really well. But to get to the next level, you got to be disruptive up front, and they're just not there yet. And then offensive line-wise too, you get a couple of big plays, you do a couple of good things, and then you get a couple of negative plays, and the drive's over with. And that's been kind of the hallmark of this season for them, and some bad luck too. Alex McPherson, a healthy Alex McPherson for this team, and 3 field goals. You go a field goal against Oklahoma, a field goal against Missouri, and maybe Vandy. You take a lead 10-7 in the third quarter.
Yep.
Just that one thing alone could be the difference in being right now, 5-4 instead of 3-6.
You know, Jason, you bring up field goals. I was going to ask you about that. At this point in the season, and certainly there's been some injuries, some illnesses, things haven't gone well with the place kickers. Do you envision Hugh Freeze going for it more on fourth down?
Yeah, I think you could. I think they were kind of set up in some of those situations. I think game dictates some of that too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going, hey, we got to go score because this team's going to score. Maybe against A&M and Alabama, you go, maybe you're going to have to be more aggressive because the game might dictate it. Saturday, you're going, man, it's a 7-7 game. A field goal will be pretty big in this game because there's not a whole lot of scoring. And so some of that too, I think they've tried to do. I think they would have liked to have gone forward in some situations. Then you have a negative play, and instead of 4th and 3, you look up and it's 4th and 7.
Right.
And go, well, it changes then what you're trying to do. So I think there's been a little bit of everything, but yeah, just I think it's been a mixture of a whole lot of stuff. And you know, Alex McPherson, you know, his illness and dealing with that has been one of the bigger parts of this season that probably gets a little overshadowed because it's not offense or defense or quarterback.
Back to the original question, Coach Freeze is saying at least they're starting to think about giving somebody else more snaps. You know, all of our viewers are looking at Walker White. Would he be who would they look at? I know you're talking about getting him 10 snaps out there, but
Hank Brown is the first guy you look at.
Yeah.
He's been your number 2 guy all season. He has a start already. And so you're looking at going, okay, what he learned against Arkansas, is he now prepared to go back out and go, okay, I can put that into practice? You don't really know till you see it again, because in practice at this time of year, you're not really going out and having full-blown scrimmages. You're kind of running your offense. You're doing those things. That would be the one I think if you're going to say, hey, we're going to another quarterback, then I would be shocked if it wasn't Hank Brown at this point. Again, can Walker White, can you get him enough reps? I mean, you still got Holden Garner there too, but you got to feel like he's played in a few games. This would be an ideal opportunity if you could get Walker White just some snaps just to kind of get his feet wet before spring would be the time to do it.
Is anything else going on during the off week? I mean, obviously, when you hear some news about a quarterback change, that's going to dominate the news. But any other areas on the team, or maybe any other areas maybe that personally you'd like to see him working on?
Yeah, I think it's just how many of the young guys can you start to kind of get some reps for? Because you look, and if you haven't played in a game yet, a TJ Lindsey, some of those guys, a DJ Reed on the defensive line. Can you get those guys involved? Maybe DJ Barber at linebacker. You're already playing all your young guys in the secondary, and so that one's kind of already done. And that's the most impressive part about this defense to me right now, is that we started running down the list of guys who you thought were going to be major contributors on this defense in the secondary this year, and you go, Keontae Scott was the first one. He's not even really playing defense anymore. These young guys have surpassed him. You thought Colton Hood was going to be a big part of it. He's at Colorado. Tyler Scott injured, out for the season. Champ Anthony injured, out for the season. J.D. Rim transferred out, got kicked off the team, whatever it was. Antonio Kite has been dismissed from the team as well. You start looking, all those guys are gone, and now you're playing true freshmen, and they're playing well. So
yeah,
that's why I think right now, TJ Lindsey, give him a few snaps on the defensive line. For me, if I'm playing a 5th-year or 6-year senior transfer guy 10 snaps a game and it's not really making an impact, then I'll play my true freshman those 10 snaps right now.
Yeah, but there's another aspect of it as well. You've made this point before to us on different media and at different times. The locker room is important. If a guy's out there getting snaps that doesn't really deserve it.
Right. Yeah, you have to show that you're ready for that.
Right.
No question. You can't just go, I'm going to play this guy. Yeah, and we've heard him talk about, hey, TJ Lindsey's guys coming on. He made a road trip to Arkansas or to Missouri. So I think if you're close enough, if you're like, hey, this guy ain't even close to ready, but we're going to play him anyway because he's a freshman.
Right.
Then your guys go, well, I know what's happening now. But in this regard, you go, look, hey, my older guys, you're not really making a difference.
Right.
So I'm going to play
the and they guy. Know the locker room knows.
Well, I mean, you numbers tell you. You look and I did something for the defense today, and when talking about kind of how this thing works. And I was like, one of them was on the defensive line. And so you start talking about, Malik Blockton has played really well. Bobby Jameson Travis has probably been a pretty solid one too, when you look at it. But those two guys, 21 tackles, 2 sacks, 4.5 tackles for losses. And that's while you're rotating guys. The older guys, Jason Jones, Isaiah Rakes, Philip Bleedy, Trill Carter, Gage Keys. So all of those guys were transfers at one point or another. Those 5 combined guys at 35 tackles, no sacks, and 1.5 tackles for a loss. And so you start going, okay, that's where you start to go, man, we can find somebody else to give us that production. Now, Isaiah Rakes and Jason Jones are big guys, and they do a job of plugging the middle, doing some of those things. But I think
that don't necessarily show up in the number.
Yeah, it doesn't show up as much on stat. But I do think there's times where you go, okay, we're going to go see if we can get third downs. Certain situations, you go, man, we're going to go. I think about the end of the year against Alabama, where you have a quarterback that is really athletic. Alabama, now they did against Missouri a little bit more. It doesn't line up and just say, hey, we're just going to run the ball 50 times at you. You got a quarterback that can move. Maybe you want a more athletic, dynamic guy. Maybe that's one of your younger guys. So I think those are possibilities. The same thing on the offensive line. I think you look at it and go, if these guys go, hey, DeAndre Carter's been really good in practice.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be bad to see him get a rep here or there. I think those are things. You're right, though. You can't just go, we're playing young guys, because then you go, okay, well, then we're going to check out. They haven't checked out. They've continued to play hard, and I think that's a testament to the coaching staff and to these guys that they've continued to just grind it out.
I'm curious, Jason. I think we all know November is going to be a wild month in college football. I think the college football playoff ranking that we saw Tuesday night is going to change a lot between now and that final bracket that we see.
Yeah, it's going to, because a lot of these teams play each other, and some of those happen this weekend. Whether it's Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU, we'll see some of those continue to shake themselves out, and even in Indiana, Penn State. I mean, there's games that are still to come that are going to absolutely have an impact on this thing, and obviously Tennessee, Georgia still to come. I mean, Georgia's got a couple of these games still left.
Yes.
Texas has a couple of games still left, and that's the thing about it. If DJ Lagway plays Saturday, that becomes a little bit more of an interesting game, because Texas has not blown me away with how they've played football yet either. So no, it's going to change for sure. There's a whole lot of upheaval still to come, and the question is going to be: does a Big Ten or an SEC, do you get a 3-loss team in there? Because people are like, oh, the 2-loss teams are good. 3-loss, we'll see. Well, now you've got a bunch of people that have beaten up everybody, and you start to go 3-loss SEC team, 2-loss ACC team. Which one gets the nod? I mean, there's going to be some of that, and obviously there's going to be arguing, and people going, oh, we should be in. You know what? If you've got 3 losses or 2 losses, then you can't complain. It's like being 65. It's like being a bubble team in basketball.
Yep.
You got an argument, but in the end, if you'd have won more games, you'd be in. So,
and that's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
Well, It's interesting. I'm looking here, auburnundercover.com. Jason has VIP content, 3 bye-week thoughts on Auburn's defense. And you look underneath it, and holy smokes, there's a basketball tip-off special, 50% off an Auburn Undercover subscription, Jason.
That's right. Yep, 50% off right now. If you never subscribed, it's like, all right, basketball season, let's roll. Come join us. Wow. We also opened our basketball board is back. It was a popular thing. Didn't have it for a little while. It is back now. So we have that basketball-only message board for folks that want to come and talk basketball. Obviously, football is always going to be there. Recruiting is always going to be there. But if you have folks go, hey, I want basketball, you've got that option now too. So check us out. Lots of things going on. YouTube page has, post-game videos, all those things for Bruce Pearl, and also our immediate thoughts after games as well. So check that out.
Awesome. Jason, man, as always, we appreciate your time and your input. Greatly appreciate it. And, man, check him out, auburnundercover.com, everything Auburn. Have a great week, my friend. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all too.
Take care.
You too, buddy. On our City of Montgomery guest hotline, that is Jason Caldwell. Always great insight and information going on. At the top of the next hour, Rodney Orr will join us from the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. A lot going on our chat room, sponsored by River Region Straw. It sounds like there's a little Bond talk going on. Some James Bond talk going on the chat room today.
Kirk, I like Kirk because if he's thinking it, he's asking it. And I wouldn't consider it giving you crap about not knowing Sonny Smith. I'm just, it's just funny because we're in our little sphere of influence, and I'm thinking, that's, it's, you can see a lot of different things when you're all across the country, not necessarily, I'm new here and all that. So I figured everybody knew. Now, the Longshore and McKnight account, you ask 100 people under the age of 40, and they won't know who Sonny Smith is.
I'll take credit for it.
Oh,
yeah.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah. We're getting old, Barry. We're getting old. Danny wants to know if I've ever had a brush with greatness with a beautiful female sideline reporter. Yes, I have. Holly Rowe. No, really. Barry, who was
Holly Rowe?
She's great. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Who was the
Jill Arrington?
Jill Arrington. Yes.
John has a mental block about her name, but that's about anyway.
She had on the tightest white pants. It was the Alabama-Tennessee game. I was standing next to her on the sideline. I'll never forget it because she had an on-field producer telling her what to ask Philip Fulmer. I'm thinking, can't you come up with something of your own to ask him?
Yeah.
Thought, wait a minute. You should know what to say. Yeah, certainly Laura Rutledge as well. I've stood next to her and chit-chatted for a moment. Tracy
Wolfson
now does NFL. Tracy Wolfson. I really had to put her in high regard because she gave me one of these SEC on CBS baseball caps. I'll never forget. We were
that was when you were doing the live 2-shot down there on the field, and she came over.
Well, it was actually the Friday before the game. D. Jackson and I went over to Auburn because we were going to be able to
that was the time you went to King Kong Buffet
Gary.
number 2. Yeah, okay.
So we get on the CBS bus. We're in the bus interviewing it. Dee's in the back of the bus with Vern. I'm in the front with Gary. We're interviewing them, and the interview wraps up, and we're thinking, we ain't leaving. We're going to hang out here in the CBS bus. You kidding me?
Well,
so we after about 5 minutes, we could tell they were ready for us to leave. But before we left,
which is usually about right, yes.
I did ask Tracy Wolfson. I said, Tracy, y'all got any of those SEC on CBS baseball caps? I'd love one. Boom. She said,
Plainsman Preston says she gave you a cap so you'd go away.
Well, maybe. Maybe so. Probably did. But always thought highly of Tracy for getting. I still got that cap. Still got
Never wear it, but
no,
John's not a gimme cap kind of guy. So, there's a lot more still to come. We'll take a break. Come back. Yep. Rodney Orr, Tiger Insider, as we already are just about ready for our second live hour of Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car or a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Prattville is a process that should always start with your team of professionals on your side. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it is safe to say that Stivers Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But don't just take my word for it. Experience the Stivers difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars and trucks. Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light. Buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar. Go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial. Buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, Schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316. The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
Okay, we're back at it here straight up 8 o'clock on this Thursday morning. Longshore and McKnight, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Barry, we're getting a lot of response about our connection and association with Yellowhammer News. Really appreciate folks checking us out there. Yellowhammernews.com. And, of course, they're all over social media as well. You can check it out. Great coverage with the election on Tuesday. Did a fantastic job with that. And, of course, they've got so much information there for you, whether it's news, politics, lifestyle, sports. They've got it all. Check it out at yellowhammernews.com, and you'll see us there as well. And you'll see their guys on with us from time to time, too. So we're very excited about that at Yellowhammer News.
Yep, there's good stuff on there. My buddy Wes Allen officially certifies the Alabama election results and stuff. It's statewide, but it's also a lot of local stuff as well. Well, we're underway in our second hour. It is Thursday, and John, that means the Destin Connection Seafood Market is front and center, bringing us Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider.
Yeah, Range Pro let me know, man, they are getting deliveries in daily of the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf. It's getting oyster season, Barry. You know, if there's an R in the month, that means you start enjoying those great oysters, and they're getting them in daily at the Destin Connection, along with all of their other great seafood items. 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call ahead 288-4272, and your order will be ready for pickup. How about lunch today? Go ahead and call them up in a couple of hours. They'll have your lunch ready for you. That grouper pull boy, highly recommended. Rodney Orr joins us here this morning, the Tighter Insider. Good morning, Rodney. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are y'all today?
Doing really well, full of questions like always. Crimson Tide had the weekend off. How do you think it was? What do you think the high points were that they need to address or try to address during that off week?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, according to what Kalen DeBoer said, they had a really good off week, and it's been energetic this week, a lot of intensity. I think they got started on the right foot on Sunday with their practice then. And, he said that they had about an hour and 15-hour, 20-minute practice on Sunday that kind of set the tone. So everything sounds positive right now in terms of the preparation that they've had. And I think, we all know that they came out smoking after that first bye week against Georgia, at least in the first half, right? So they were well prepared. So hopefully, they continue to do that. I think the key is, guys, as we start to look towards this Saturday, is the key number one for Alabama. It's kind of, to me, the same thing it's been all along. Play clean football. And if they do that, their chances of winning are pretty, they're certainly much higher than they would be if, these mistakes continue to haunt them.
So mainly penalties and turnovers. Limit that, and certainly it's a tough environment. We saw it in Knoxville. I mean, it was kind of a slow start in an environment like that. At night, it was loud. It wasn't a good start for the Crimson Tide. They don't need a start like that down in Baton Rouge. No doubt.
And I said, John, after the game, of course, everything's hindsight. Not that it really, might not have made a difference at all. But you do wonder that first series at Alabama, and I think DeBoer said this here this week. They didn't get started on a good note, right? I mean, they took the ball. They accepted the ball early. They took the opening possession, and I said then you wonder if maybe they would. If they had it to go over with again, would you start another way? down there, or well, it was in Knoxville, but maybe the same thing at LSU if they win the toss. And again, I know that's a little thing, but it's just something to get you settled in, get your defense out on the field, kind of allow everyone to kind of feel good about it, because there's so many communication issues that you have in that environment. But with all that said, no, I think that's a real key. And listen, I think this is a game where we kind of saw something that maybe against Missouri is the direction they're headed offensively, is to kind of, okay, look, he threw it 45 times in Knoxville. That's not really Jalen Milroe's game plan. Let's rely on the run game. Let's get our offensive line going. Let's establish a mindset, and then build from there. Give him short, easy, quick throws to build some confidence, and then we'll work from there.
We got a question from our friend Robbie here wanting you to update. John mentioned earlier in the show that on the injury list, Keon Sabb is out, Cole Adams is out. Yeah. Do you expect those guys, particularly Keon Sabb, will he be back at all?
You know what? It would only be speculation on my part based on a few things I've heard. Would kind of be surprised, based on what I've heard. But then again, they're keeping it. I have to say this, guys. The DeBoer, since early in the season, they've shut things down pretty well. He's been vague in a lot of his kind of comments, especially when it comes to injuries. He's become more vague about that. So it's been kind of shut down over there. I would expect, though. Now, again, I don't know if they get in the playoffs and how deep they would go, and would he be available then? Don't really know. But I wouldn't expect that for Sabb. And of course, Cole Adams is out.
Yeah. Any other probables or questionables? We asked about that earlier today. Certainly like the NFL, not sure exactly what constitutes being probable or questionable. But what are you hearing on those fronts?
No, I mean, I think everyone pretty much is, nobody's probably 100%, but I think that it's, I think otherwise they're in pretty good shape. There, I know that, secondary's obviously been banged up, but that's what, this off week certainly could, the off week certainly could have been helpful.
Rodney, nobody's really surprised that in the opening college football playoff rankings, Alabama is number 11. That's kind of what everybody projected. I think you even mentioned that last week. That was your expectation. But I'm looking around. Alabama's the top-rated 2-loss team out there, and I'm looking around above Alabama, behind Alabama in the rankings, and I mean, there's nobody on there Alabama can't beat. The first ranking doesn't mean anything really, especially when you got LSU coming up. The loser of that one is out, right?
Right. Well, you'd think so. This has been kind of a crazy deal, but yeah, you would think so, John and Barry. I mean, I kind of thought 10-2 was the mark. If you're not 10-2, you're probably not going to get in. Is it possible? Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. But I don't think Alabama. I think 10-2. This is. I agree with you, Barry. It's pretty much an elimination game as we look at it today. So, but I think this, with Alabama being number 11 right now, it's a good sign, because I think if you win out, you've positioned yourself. You're going to be in the playoffs. I think that's what this is right now. You beat LSU, you possibly could move up a notch or two. Then you've got to survive against Oklahoma in Norman, and then of course Auburn coming to Tuscaloosa. So I think right now Alabama, in terms of the playoffs, it's all up to them.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you there, Rodney. You win, I like your chances a lot. You lose, looks like
you're probably done.
Some Florida Bowl, and half the team will probably opt out.
That's right.
Your thoughts about LSU? I'm kind of interested to see what you think about the Bengal Tigers. Alabama is a favorite on the road in Death Valley on a Saturday night. Now, I'm not shocked by that. I think some people out there might have thought that was a little interesting, but all in all, your thoughts about LSU?
Well, first of all, it starts with Nussmeier to me. I mean, he's just so good. I mean, now he's, he had a bad second half against Texas A&M. He had 3 interceptions. He's thrown 20 touchdowns. He's thrown 9 interceptions. I think the thing with them, John and Barry, is I kind of compared them with Alabama's offense is, I mean, obviously they're better throwing the ball consistently. They throw it for 332 yards a game. And I think that's because of Nussmeier. And they've got a lot of weapons. They've got good weapons. But they don't run the ball extremely well. So I think this is where Alabama, if they can continue to what we saw in the Missouri game, I think Alabama is maybe the more balanced offense. And to have that run game, I think could be really important because LSU, Bo Davis, the LSU defensive line coach, who I think is the best defensive line coach in America, he really did not inherit a great group of players in terms of the talent. They were real, and what he's done and taken them and molded them, they're much better, but they're still, I would say overall defensively, not just their defensive line, they haven't played the run extremely well. They've been a little susceptible to the run, and they don't run the ball well offensively. So when you look at Alabama, they've been better running the ball than LSU, and they've probably been a little better stopping the run, even though they're not great at stopping the run. So with all that said, I mean, I think it shapes up if Alabama plays clean and, Milroe consistently throws the ball well, uses his feet, does what he can do, then I think Alabama, I'm with you. I think Alabama, you can understand why they're favored in that. But now, look, I mean, the thing that scares me about LSU, Nussmeier throws the ball extremely well. How many games have we seen receivers running free?
Oh,
just free. And you've got Aaron Anderson, you got Kyron Lacey, and the guy who really kind of scares me is the tight end, Mason Taylor. He's really good.
Yep.
He's really good. He's got like 39 receptions this year, so he's been active. And, you can't lose these guys in coverage or Nussmeier will eat you alive.
3 out of the last 4 games. Well, Alabama's won 2 out of the last 3. Tide has won 3 out of the last 4. But in that 2020 Alabama team that was so strong in the COVID year, won that one by 38. But since then, Alabama wins by 6 in Tuscaloosa. LSU wins by 1 in Baton Rouge. And then last year, Alabama wins by 4 against LSU. All in all, there's been a really, really good series down through the years. And a lot of it has been predicated on, playing at home, getting the home crowd going, which LSU is hoping will play a big factor in that one as well. How does Alabama prepare for that?
Well, Alabama's kind of they've been pretty good against that LSU Death Valley mystique down there, as you know. They've won they're 29-10 and something down there. I don't know what it is.
Wow. Rodney, I got a little history for you. I was at the game they tied 14-14. You remember that one?
I do remember 1985.
Yeah.
That was I remember that game well. But like I said, I mean, Alabama's been pretty good down there in Baton Rouge. But it's like I've also said, what does that really matter heading into this game? You got new coaches, you got, I don't know if in most of these players that are still here lost to LSU the last time down there in Baton Rouge. So I'm not really sure what that matters. I just think this, we've watched Alabama 3 times on the road. Of course, I'm going to discount Wisconsin, but it's not an SEC game. They went to Vanderbilt. They weren't very good. I mean, they 40-35. They weren't very good that day, and they weren't very good in Knoxville because I think they played I'm not extraordinarily impressed with Tennessee overall. Great defense, all that, but I think Alabama just missed a bunch of opportunities. They looked very, very average in that game. So when you're talking about weighing this game, that's one of the keys too. I mean, is how do you respond on the road in that environment?
Well, this is what impresses me. Off the top of his head, John brings up the 14-14 game. Rodney says, it was 1985. I fact-check him, which I do just for my own amusement because he's never wrong. But it was 1985. And, this surprises me. It really does. You're right. Alabama is 29-10-2 all time. at Tiger Stadium. That's kind of shocking, if you ask me.
You know what? Go ahead, John.
LSU had a chip shot field goal. I mean, extra
Yeah.
point distance,
and
missed it to win the game.
85. Yeah.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah. And
hey,
no,
the call-in shows were just as good as if they'd lost.
as I recall, John Barry, Gene Jelks threw a touchdown pass, a throwback pass. Do you remember that?
I think,
Gene, down near the goal line.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do remember
Anyway, it's crazy,
sure.
crazy thing. But you know, one thing that did surprise, I did not realize this. Brian Kelly's won 306 games.
Yes.
That is, I mean, I was surprised by that.
A lot of them have been, at lower levels.
Yes,
and
right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, they have been. But still, I mean, 306, he's got such an impressive record. But, hey, it's shaping up for a real showdown. This is obviously a big game. Somebody called me the other day and said, you know what? DeBoer doesn't win this game, it's going to all break loose. Well, I mean, it is his first season. There's a lot of transition going on. But I will say this. I got a gut feeling, just a gut feeling, that Alabama's going to come out and they're going to play well. They know what's on the line. They've heard a lot of the talk, if you will. And I think that this staff has really challenged them over the last 2 weeks.
It's going to be interesting. Yep. Gene Jelks, 1985, in his first start at running back at Alabama, freshman, throws a touchdown pass to.
Was it Shula?
I was going to say Gene Newberry, but I knew he was a tight end. It was Mike Shula.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was just having a hard time picturing Shula catching a pass. But
Boy, no.
Yeah. And you're right. Ron Lewis for LSU was the place kicker. Some guy named Ron Lewis, who's probably living in Nome, Alaska right now. 24-yard field goal attempt with 5 seconds left, and he missed it.
And that's when the goalposts were wider. I mean, they were a lot wider than they are today. I vaguely remember that play with Gene Jelks because I was literally sitting on the top row of the upper deck. I mean, I could see New Orleans from my seat. I mean, I thought, gee whiz, how much higher can I get? That upper deck's at a steep angle as well. You don't want to trip coming down those steps. You'll fall all the way down to the bottom of that upper deck. Hey, Rodney, also wanted to change gears just a little bit. We talked about it yesterday. Man, this Alabama basketball team looked athletic and they looked deep. I get it, UNC Asheville, but man, they seem to be everything everybody said they were.
Well, I watched most of the 2 exhibition games and then this game, and they scored a lot of points. I mean, they scored 96, 98, and 110. They can load it up. And they've got a lot of guys that can put it in the hoop, a lot of impressive players. I mean, you just go down that roster and sometimes you hear all this stuff and it's a lot of hype, but they do have quality depth from 1 to 13. I mean, it's amazing to me. And a lot of young players that are very impressive too. But this Cliff Omori on the inside is really going to make a difference. I mean, obviously he already did. I don't remember his numbers off the top of my head from the other night, but he had an impressive debut there versus UNC Asheville. But I mean, no, I really think that the one thing that's is just probably Nate Oates' biggest battle, or one of his bigger battles, is going to be, keeping this team, once this SEC starts, it's going to be really competitive. Sometimes when you have big wins and you kind of start, I don't know if you lose focus or what it is, but I think that's one thing that he's really going to have to, press his finger on, is to keep this team grounded a little bit, if that makes sense.
It always makes sense. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Lots of things going on. How do people access it?
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card, or if you prefer, there is an address there to send a check, and that gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum, and our other forums, by the way, that are part of Tighter Insider. And then also, like we've mentioned before, our book, Bigger Than Bama, which is available on rodneyorr.com, or you can check out Amazon. Go there, you can get all the details.
Rodney, as always, man, we appreciate your time. It's going to be a great game Saturday night in Baton Rouge. I know you'll be all over it. Ton of information at Tighter Insider. And we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Rodney. Brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Hey, David tells me they're getting fresh shipments in each and every day. The freshest seafood direct from the Gulf is at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. You can call ahead at 288-4272. Your order will be ready for pickup. Whether you want fresh seafood that you want to take home and prepare, cook yourself, some oysters, some shrimp, you name it, they got all that for you as well, or they can prepare it for you. I'm telling you, it's a great lunch. That grilled grouper po' boy or oyster po' boy, shrimp po' boy, you name it, they can do it at the Destin Connection Seafood Market.
When we come back, the Victory Land topic wheel.
Yes.
We are going to get into it. We've been busy. We're always busy. We're going to get into it. College, NFL, I don't know that we've reacted quickly enough to get sideline female reporters in, but maybe that's tomorrow. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. And we're back.
Hey, we are back.
Yeah.
I think we are back.
All right.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah.
So a 24-yard chip shot field goal to win the game for LSU. They did not do it. We get a chat from Gern Blanston.
He says,
yeah.
I was in the end zone where the LSU kicker missed the chip shot. I believe we extended the weekend through Sunday night in New Orleans and into Monday.
Yeah.
New Orleans in 1985, I guarantee you a lot of the trash, a lot of the dirt in the French Quarter is the same trash and the same dirt. Probably the same guy with the folding card table and the little walnut shell halves.
Yes, the shell
Probably
game.
that same guy's out there as well.
Probably so. And then the youngsters are playing drums on the Home Depot buckets on Bourbon Street. They're good about that too. I love the music down there on the in the quarter. You know, the thing about a night game in Baton Rouge, you got to, most people do go back to New Orleans. So you got to get out of the game. You got to get on the interstate. You got to get back down to New Orleans, which normally you're getting in, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. If you win, you're not going in. Going to celebrate a little bit more. And I believe that was the case here. We had actually taken the train down to New Orleans. I think it still runs. As a matter of fact, the Crescent Line and comes through Atlanta, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, maybe Meridian, Hattiesburg goes down that way. I can't remember the exact route. But the problem with that, the train leaves New Orleans coming back north early, like 7 in the morning. And I believe we were in Pat O'Brien's, and somebody said, hey, man, the train's leaving in about an hour. We better go.
Wait a minute. What time were you in Pat O'Brien's?
It was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then somebody else says, why don't we just stay another day and go back, take it easy on Sunday and go back Monday? There was not a lot of disagreement or argument about that. That's what we did. Only problem was we stayed out a little late on Sunday night. We made the train on Monday, but it was close. It was close. That was, 40 years ago. Man, I feel like it was yesterday. I can still remember it.
Oh, the memories.
I can remember. Barry, I can tell you this. I can remember who our bartender was at Pat O'Brien's. His name was Herbert. Never forget it. And this guy, we just looked at him. Herbert, another round. He was jumping over tables to get to us.
Yeah.
Man, Herbert got
3 fingers of Goldschlager, please.
He got a good night, a good tip that morning. That went way into the morning. But boy, those were some good memories back then. And I do remember that game. Top row of the upper deck. Top row of the upper deck.
All right. Let's try. Longshore, let's take a break. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Let's see here. We're getting there.
Yep.
Sounds like we got some network control issues to
Maybe
get
so.
that logged in.
Maybe
I don't know what we got going on there. We got some great stuff on the chat line I've been seeing as well. I saw one earlier today that caught my attention. Well, Robbie, Robbie's asking some really good questions today about, injury reports, defensive performance, what it's got to take to get a victory for the Crimson Tide down in Baton Rouge.
Yep. Kirk worked with a lot of questions. Kirk is a question asker. I like that. My brother Mike is a question asker. You don't want to, you don't know if you don't ask. Daniel, do you remember this? Daniel at 7:58 this morning says, I still remember Tracy Wolfson for drinking Cam Newton's Cammy juice on the sideline. And everyone was laughing, still wondering what exactly was in that bottle. LOL. It was Cam juice, right? What I forget. What was that? Did he market that?
Was it some kind of grape juice with? No, that was that thing that LSU.
Yeah, that was Jamarcus.
Right.
That was Jamarcus. Oh my gosh, Jamarcus Russell.
Crazy drank
it was,
or
no
like
purple
that?
drank.
Purple drank.
Jamarcus. I don't know. Would drink that on the side. What was the deal with Cam juice? I don't know. This was in our conversation about sideline reporters. Danny from Margaritaville says, I wonder if Longshore has had a brush with greatness with a beautiful female sideline reporter. And he brings up the evergreen story about Jill Arrington and the tight white pants.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that made an impression on him there. So
it did.
All right.
It's something about no panty lines for some reason. I remember that. I thought, man, those things are so tight, and I don't see one panty line. Not that
and he was about to say, and believe me, there was an attempt. Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm amazed how women do that. I think I know how, but family show.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Plus,
I don't. It's one of the mysteries of the world.
All right, so we'll take this on. Take this upon ourselves. The tonight it is NFL football, and it's a really good one. It was the best game of the year back in Week 5. I agree with that. It's the Ravens hosting the Bengals in Baltimore tonight, 7:15 Central Time on Amazon Prime.
Somebody, I think Bill from Baltimore, told us that the Ravens are going all purple tonight.
Is that right?
All purple.
All purple. Yeesh.
That's like
two purple references in a space of 2 minutes. Yes. That way, if you spill it, it's not going to ruin the look or anything. Yeah. Baltimore won it in overtime in Week 5. The two quarterbacks, of course, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow combined for 9 touchdowns. They both are having terrific years. The Bengals are wasting Joe Burrow's phenomenal year because their defense is terrible. So yeah, that's tonight. It should be must watch. If you're not interested, you can watch Appalachian State at Coastal Carolina tonight at 7:00. That's on ESPN. Or also at 7:00, it's Florida Atlantic at East Carolina on ESPN2. And Mr. Roundball on the Hardwood Longshore over there might be tuning in during the commercial breaks from the Amazon Prime game, which is difficult because Amazon Prime, John has to Oh, click off of that. Click on here. Tap, 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 click. Oh, the humanity to watch Timberwolves and Bulls on the NBA network.
It's a little early in the season for me to really start watching a lot of NBA. I'm a casual observer at this point in time. Kind of like Major League Baseball throughout the entire year. I'm a casual observer.
Yes.
But yeah. So I might take a look at that. Just a little look. I don't know if the Pels are playing tonight. But I might take a look at, but you're right, Barry. I love YouTube TV. I love the quad box, but man, going from one to another, it's a little slow for my taste.
This is tap, 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 scroll, 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 tap. Oh my gosh. We can send a man to the moon, but we can't get from one channel to another on internet TV without having to move my finger 7 times. Oh, yeah, it's awful. By the way,
and I'm with you there, Barry. We can send, and you're using one of my lines. We can send a man to a moon.
That's why I said it. That's exactly why.
So you're telling me we cannot have a faster remote control to get me from one game to another?
These are the problems that the new administration will be expected to address. Right on. Yeah, immigration, sure. The economy, fine. Get John a more streamlined remote. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. By the way, the Pelicans don't play today. Pelicans play tomorrow in Orlando. Trying to do something about a 3-6 start.
The Magic.
Against the Magic.
Well,
Yep.
I forgot it. Yep. I forgot even Orlando had a team. And
he brags about that stuff. He said, who won the national championship in basketball last year? Yeah.
So I'll say this, Barry. I saw there again, Alabama was playing, I believe it was Gene Stallings' last. No, that was in Tampa. They played, Alabama played Ohio State in the Citrus Bowl. Like, wow, I'm trying to think the year that they played. Jay Barker was the quarterback. So maybe it was
1995.
95. Okay. So he was Sherman Williams, I believe, was still on that team, and they beat Ohio State in that game. It was an early kick, if I'm not recalling, not as early as the game in the Outback Bowl against Michigan, which was Stallings' last game. But against that game against Ohio State in the game in Orlando, went to see.
Yeah, it was 1995, but it was at the end of the 1994 season.
Okay,
that makes sense.
So let me get this straight. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal was playing for the Magic. They played the LA Clippers, and I can't tell you who won the game, but I went to see the Magic and the Clippers the night before Alabama played Ohio State in the Citrus Bowl. That might have been the first NBA game I ever went to. Trying to think. And I believe Orlando plays in a different arena today.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, because the arena I saw it on, it was not very, I thought, this is where the NBA plays?
In that game, Sherman Williams scored 2 touchdowns, one on a 50-yard pass reception from Jay Barker. Joey Galloway had 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
For Ohio State.
Yeah.
1994 season. It was 1995. The win for Alabama caps off an 11-1 season. Their only loss was to Florida in the SEC championship game.
So,
and I would imagine, if the narrative is correct, that the place was about 3/4 full. Alabama fans weren't.
Well, I was thinking about that. I think, Barry, back in that era, people maybe bowl games were a bigger deal, more than they are today. And I do recall there being a pretty big crowd at that game. You had 2 well-known programs, helmet game. I'm just amazed that a team that finished 11-1 lost to Florida in the championship game.
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah.
And they're playing a game in the daytime in Orlando? Was there not a better game for them to play? I mean, who played the Sugar Bowl? I guess Florida went to the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was no bowl alliance or
yeah,
anything back
I mean,
then. He
that's
played
the
in Sugar
best
Bowl. That was
bowl
the
game they
tie-in.
could go to. That's
How soon
amazing.
we forget? And it drives me nuts. He drives me nuts anyway. It drives me nuts when John says, very innocently, it seems as though bowl games were a bigger deal back then.
Yeah.
John has spent his career trying to minimize the bowl games. The reason why bowl games were a bigger deal back then is because of him. I mean, the reason why they're not as big of a deal now anymore is because of 30-something years of work to get rid of a lot of them. He's the guy.
Well, it seems like there's more and more. I mean, I don't know. You're getting a lot of bowl games. And there again, I mean, I got to be careful about this because there's some bowl games that I think really serve a good purpose. I'll give you one as an example, the one right here in Montgomery. It's been around for over a decade, got a new name. We're very excited about that. The Veterans Bowl here in Montgomery. It'll kick off bowl season right after the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
It's going to be great.
The MAC and the Sun Belt, I think it's great. Some of these other bowl games, I'm just not so sure. I just get the sense. Well, this is a question on the fly. I don't get the sense, Barry, that teams that are in the MAC, the Sun Belt, wherever else it might be, I don't get the sense they have the opt-out issue like some of these Power 5 programs do that go to a bowl game and these kids don't care.
Oh, they have some. That actually technically was not a question. That was a statement to gain a reaction.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it does happen. Troy has had that happen before. And that does take place, particularly now that you have the transfer portal. If you got a guy who knows he's going to enter the transfer portal as soon as he can, why is he playing in this bowl game? It's not like he's going to the NFL, but he's going to find somewhere else. That kind of a thing happens.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you don't get a little goose pimply over the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl?
That's what I'm talking about.
A couple of things. The LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, is the actual name of it. It's December the 18th, which is a Wednesday. I think it didn't have any. Gronk is hosting it, Rob Gronkowski.
That's right.
I don't think there's anything to the fact that Jimmy Kimmel has taken his name off of it because he is in mourning right now over the results of Tuesday.
I got to tell you,
he may already be in another country right now.
It's kind of like the guy that's trying to quit smoking and he sees that pack and he lights one up. Last night, I did have to chime in and see what was going on at MSNBC just to get a reaction. I was satisfied with what I saw for about 10 minutes, and I was done with that. Hey, Terrence, really enjoy the chat about the NBA game that you saw. His last one was in New Orleans. Yeah, I've seen a couple of Pelican games too, Terrence. They're a lot of fun. But, man, you saw a big one there with the Lakers, Kobe, Phil Jackson. Man, that was a while back.
Pau Gasol, yeah.
Yeah,
love it.
Awesome. Man, that's awesome.
Also,
Terrence,
since you're talking about the NBA, Terrence, and we were talking about Jimmy Kimmel, he's still kicking. His name came off of that bowl game before the results of the election.
Yeah, true.
Also, likewise, it's very heartening to know that tonight. Is it tonight? No, it's tomorrow night. It's a kind of a light night tonight in the NBA. Tomorrow night, the Warriors are playing the Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the only unbeaten team left in the NBA. And the inside word is that Steve Kerr is going to be coaching that game for Golden State. Okay. He is not curled up in a fetal position somewhere, sucking his thumb because of the results of the election.
I think he'll be on the sidelines
as well.
I may understand that Gurn Jr. got a hold of some bad Mexican last night. He's gotten that taken.
Yeah,
he's gotten that taken care of. Woo! Do we have Dude Wipes as a sponsor? Anyway, we need to take a quick break.
Let's take a break. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speed associated with our installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Both locations offer fully stocked pro shops with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Hi, this is Benji with Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Guys, this is the time to shop. The holidays will be here before you know it. Our cases are slam full, so take advantage and lay away for Christmas now. We have a full repair shop and design shop. So if you dream it, we can make it for her. And if you need any repairs, we have an in-house master jeweler. At Marguerite's, we make it. We really make it. At Marguerite's, we are open 7 days a week. Come see us at the Preparatory Shopping Center, 8163 Vaughn Road, Montgomery, Alabama, right by Chappie's.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All right, we're back at it here, about 18 minutes to the top of the hour. I know, man, Chris the Bammer has been chomping at the bit for the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We're going to get that loaded up here in just a moment. Got some great things we're going to get to on the topic wheel today. And certainly the chats are coming through. And I certainly want to remind everybody, the Dreamland Pick 3, they're already rolling in. We appreciate that. You can keep them coming until your first game kicks off.
We're getting a lot of sponsor questions. Dude wipes. Didn't we have, when you and I were working together elsewhere, didn't we have like a Dude wipes live guest or something? Or yeah,
sounds familiar. They brought some sponsor products. I got to tell you, the mint Dude wipes. Woo!
Mint.
Yes. Wow.
Mint is a flavor.
You can have the shea butter and all that business, but the mint Dude wipes, wow, that is a difference maker.
Makes my eyes water just thinking about that. Really? Okay. But so we're working on that. Also, know the commercial we just had, Phoenix Physical Therapy, ain't helping Gurn Jr. out with what that was.
You got to stay away from the double bean burrito. That's never going to work for you.
Plainsman Preston says, Danny from Margaritaville, his chats can be brought to you by X-Lax. Same effect. As well, one other thing before we go to our Victoryland wheel. Somebody asked this as well. Yesterday, I wore a black polo shirt. Today, different shirt, still black. Has nothing to do with the results of the election. Believe me. I'm thinking, no. That was like in the morning or something. We're not getting into politics or anything, but no, it's
I'll just say
absolute
this.
coincidence.
Of course, I noticed it. I'm sure a lot of other people did too. But when we got off the air yesterday, the stock market was at about 1,500, where it stayed all day. I wonder what that tells you. All right, let's go to the Victorland 777.
Now, my buddy Matt says they've got an autumn-themed pumpkin spice scented dude wipe.
Ooh, really? I hadn't seen those, Matt. Huh.
If your derriere smells like a pumpkin, I think you may need to seek some sort of therapy. Smells like pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
All right, let's do it.
I've
Let's
had
do
a
it.
female say, "Are these just for men?" I said, "Hey, it's up to you. You knock yourself out."
Yeah.
All right, let's spin the Victorland 777 topic wheel and see what pops up first. Man, look at all those colors today. All right, there you have it, Barry. College football 6-7. That means what happened last night and what's going to happen tonight in college football.
Last night, well, I've been hitting the cough drops hard.
Yeah.
Last night in college football, there was action. In case you missed it, Ohio blanks Kent State 41-0 at Kent State. What has happened to the Fighting Nick Sabans? Ohio covered the 20.5. Kent State is having an epic year, a historic year, John, for the Golden Flashes. Kent State is 0-9, and at no point in those 9 games have they ever led.
Whoa. One more time?
Kent State has played 9 games. They have lost every one. And in each one of those games, they have never led. They have never had a lead all season long. That's horrendous.
That is horrendous.
Yeah. Also, yesterday, Northern Illinois wins at Western Michigan 42-28. So there you go. And as we mentioned tonight in college football, Florida Atlantic and East Carolina from Greenville, North Carolina. My good friend Allie Bowen works at East Carolina. That's at 7:00 tonight, ESPN2. East Carolina is a 7-point favorite. Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina from Conway, South Carolina, in a matchup between 4 and 4 teams. That's also at 7:00 tonight on ESPN. Oh, I'm sorry, 6:00 Central. That's on ESPN. Appalachian State favored on the road by 1.5.
There you have it. You got some college action tonight. Going to be fun to watch. There's other things. I think they're on the wheel as well. So we don't want to jump the route, but a good breakdown of what happened last. I'm blown away by Kent State. That's amazing.
They have never led. Can you imagine being a fan? The game was at Kent State last night, and they won it 41-0. I know you love your school.
Yep.
But why would you watch that? Why would you go to that game? Why would you be there?
2,000 fans, maybe. I don't know.
I'm efforting. I'm looking.
Yeah, the official box score.
Yeah.
All right, Gern, let's spin that wheel again and see what pops up next on our Victorland 777 topic wheel. It's a big spin today, and here it comes around, and it stops on T. Not TNA. That's TA. There's a difference between TNA and TA.
Is that that's not the guy from the A team, right?
That was BA. BA Baracus.
Okay, all right.
BA Baracus. TA stands for Troy Athletics. For the football team, and another basketball team is hitting the road. We were talking about the Crescent City earlier. I believe you'll be there.
I'll be in the Crescent City coming up on Saturday afternoon for Troy versus the University of New Orleans. Trojans are 1-0. That game is going to take place at 4:00. We'll have it along the Troy Sports Media Network. Nothing really at home all week. Women's basketball plays tonight at Montana State.
Wow.
At 8:00. And then also tonight, volleyball at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. Tomorrow they'll play volleyball again. basketball Saturday at UNL, Sunday women's basketball, Troy women's basketball at Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I got $10 if you can tell me whether or not Christy Curry is still the basketball. I probably got $5 if you tell me whether or not Rick Moody is still there.
I was going to drop the Christy Curry card on you just to kind of surprise you that I knew that. Yes, I believe
that's
she
what
still is.
He knows two things about Alabama women's basketball. One of them is Christy Curry is possibly the coach. And number two, they had a big fight break out against the Aubs at Coleman Coliseum about 10 years ago.
No, I think that was at Foster Auditorium, actually. I think
you're exactly right. There you go. Listen to John correcting me on Alabama women's basketball. That is beautiful.
I will tell you, Barry, I can't tell you one game they've played in years, but I can promise you, I don't remember the year, but if you ask me about Lady Tide basketball, I'm going to go, oh, yeah, remember that game they got in a fight with the Lady Aubs? Oh, it was great. See, if we had more of that, Barry, I think I'd be more interested in women's basketball, and probably the masses would as well. I mean, if a WNBA game had a big fight, oh, boy.
Christy Curry is still the head coach. They have got a grad student guard from Spain Park High School. I've actually called her games before, a transfer from Georgia. She is a really good player. Her name is Sarah Ashley Barker.
Yeah, it's Jay Barker's daughter.
Yep, 17 points per game last year. Again, a first team all SEC.
Wow.
You want to feel old? Jay Barker's daughter is now a grad student playing basketball.
Oh, wow.
At Alabama. There you go.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, Barry, I don't know that Brian Reynolds.
Fill that anymore. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to go back to the wheel in just a minute, but our good friend Brian Reynolds is the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail in Greenville, which is a short drive from anywhere within the sound of our voice. And, man, the weather's been awesome over the last 6 weeks. It's going to continue to be that way. Brian, how you doing today?
Hey, we're doing good this morning, guys. We got some little needed rain that we've needed for like months. Wasn't a lot of rain, but we got 2/10, 3/10 of an inch, so enough just to get our overseed going, and we've got the overseed down, so needed some Mother Nature on it so we can get it nice and green for those winter months go ahead. And the golf courses are still fabulous shape. Greens are still rolling super quick, still in the high 10s, low 11s. Just want to invite people down to come check it out and see the product. It's unbelievable right now.
Somebody wanted me to ask you about this. They played that course, and they wanted me to ask you if you've got Ultra Dwarf Bermuda. Is that a thing? Ultra Dwarf Bermuda? Okay, I thought he was pulling my leg, Brian.
No, it's the strand that we have is called Mini Verde Ultra Dwarf Bermuda. It's a strand that's been out probably 8 to 10 years. It's unlike the old Bermudas. It's a finer texture leaf blade, which was kind of developed to mimic a bent grass green, faster speed, smoother rolling conditions.
Right.
But yes, we do have Ultra Dwarf Bermuda. We do.
That is a golf challenge, to be sure. And all the golf is challenging. And boy, I love it, John, because each one of the courses, the Canyon, the Shirling, the Loblolly, they're all gorgeous, especially this time of the year when the leaves are starting to turn. Oh, man.
They're not turning here. They're falling. We're having to blow these things every morning. It seems like that little drought we went through, it put a licking on some of these oak trees. There are a lot of leaves on the ground around here.
Man, I bet it is beautiful as well. Also, your golf shop's fully equipped with all the latest equipment and apparel. And what about those trail cards? They're already out. People can take advantage of them right now before 2025 even starts.
That's right. Like we said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's on sale. Went on sale October 1st. So if you buy it early, you'll have it till December of 25. So great stocking stuffers, Christmas gifts, heck, Thanksgiving gifts. I like to get gifts at Thanksgiving also.
There you go.
So, you can go to any of our shops across the state, pick that up, or you can go to rtjgolf.com and buy one on our online pro shop. So they're easy to get.
Are you still at 382-9787 for tee times and more information at Cambrian Ridge?
That's correct. 382-9787.
Hey, book your tee time today or go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge. It's a great spot, man. Things are happening down there for Brian Reynolds and his staff. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, buddy. Hey, Barry, the great thing about those greens, you can go play 36 holes, but you can't take it home and get stoned to the bejesus.
Yeah, it's the bejeebers belt. Yeah. And somebody asked me this. Somebody did text me about that, and it was about the ultra dwarf Bermuda.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Greenville. And somebody said, did Big C tell you to ask that? No, that's a different thing altogether. It wasn't Big C. I had no idea there was such a thing as ultra dwarf Bermuda. It's
the bent grass, Barry, when you get this far south, it just is so stressed out with the heat in the summer. Bent grass is more of a cooler atmosphere, weather grass. I know Birmingham has several locations with bent, but they've tried it down here and it just doesn't work over the long haul. And this new strand really gives you, as Brian said, the consistency, the roll that you're looking for, the quickness of a bent grass green, but it can handle the hot days of summer a lot better than bent grass can.
Yep. What do you say? One more, maybe two on our wheel?
Yeah, let's spin that thing. I know Chris the Bammer's anxious to see what's left, so let's spin this wheel and see what we got. Victorland 777 topic wheel is going to fall on. This. I'm glad it landed on this, Barry.
College football playoff home game.
I thought this was interesting. You mentioned this yesterday. I had not heard this, but you were telling us about if you host a home game in the college football playoff, that your stadium, its field, and everything you're used to is going to look different.
The tickets are different. The ticket, if you're saying, well, I'm certainly going to be there. I've had tickets for. No, it ain't. It's not an Alabama home game. If in a couple of years the recruiting pans out, it wouldn't be an Auburn home game. I knew you'd laugh at that. That was an easy one. It is technically an NCAA college football playoff game, just as the next week's game would be in the game after that. My understanding is all of the signage you got, they're going to cover it up. The end zones, they may have Alabama on one side, but it would be like Texas on the other side, if they even do that.
Oh, wow.
You would have you wouldn't have the elephant sound effect before the game, and you wouldn't have the rolling of the video of where everybody is in the NFL and stuff like that. Those games are played at home. That's the only advantage you get, is that you're playing at home and you're staying in your own bed. Everything else is supposed to feel just like any standard.
I did not know that. I got to tell you, that was news to me yesterday. I had not known that. So my next question, are the tickets split 50-50?
I think so. Which I'm not totally sure about that, because logic would tell you that if they want to sell that place out, if like Boise State's coming in or something like that, you can't expect Boise State will get a crack at 50% probably. That one I don't know, but my suspicion is yes, that they are 50-50.
And my question being, if I'm a season ticket holder, now let's take Alabama, that's who we're using as an example. If I'm a season ticket holder and my tickets are on the 20, and I've been buying tickets for 40 years, and I don't get a ticket because Boise State's getting one, I'm going to be pretty ticked off.
Well, how about this? How about this scenario? You have been a Tide Pride ticket holder for these many years. You've been on the 50-yard line, paid $10,000. All of a sudden, you look online to make sure you get your tickets, and Jeff from Billingsley has got them. The first 2 minutes, just rank and file fan, the first 2 minutes that those things went on sale online, people are diving all over that. Or even worse, you do get those tickets, and the guy who sits beside you, who's been sitting beside you for 50 years, is no longer there. It's Big Bubba from Double Springs, and he's over there with his overalls on and no undershirt. Woo! That's my, I'm not as sure about that as I am of the other stuff. but I think that's the way it is.
I was a long-time season ticket holder, and I can't get my tickets to a playoff game. And as I mentioned yesterday, talked to several people that have already gotten information from Alabama. If they do host a game, those tickets are not cheap. I'm hearing on the 20s, 30s, $250 a ticket. Better seats around the 50, 500 face value for a ticket to those playoff games. We'll talk more about that as we get more information. I will tell you, don't worry, don't fret. The last two topics on the topic wheel we've already covered. Thursday night football tonight and Auburn basketball. So we've already covered those.
So we got those.
So
I'm
we
glad
didn't
we
miss
did.
out.
Yeah. Where will we be tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we will be at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Stivers Ford and Stivers Lincoln Luxury for less. Also, our man Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, brought to you by Jim Massey Cleaners. We'll also check in on the Phantom, brought to you by our good friends at River Region Straw. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet will join us, and a whole lot more throughout the program tomorrow. So we're looking forward to hearing and talking with you here on Longshore and McKnight.
Glad to have you all with us here today. We're on loop throughout the rest of the day on the channel. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.